Hi everyone, welcome to today's video. For today, we're going to be making an absolutely adorable card, finally using the Daisy Delight bundle. I have been wanting to use this bundle since the new catalog came out, and the punch has been on back order so many times, and I just didn't want to make a project with products that you guys couldn't get. So I've been putting it off and putting it off and putting it off, but now I think we're in a good spot, so you should be able to get these if you want them. So that's what we're going to be using for today's project. Before we jump into the project, I wanted to just mention a couple of things. So the first thing is, since it's now August, if you earned any bonus days coupons in the month of July, now is the time to spend them. So all you have to do is go on, place an order, and then when you get to start to check out, there should be a little section that asks you for a coupon code. I can't remember the exact term that they use, but it's something along those lines, and you just put in the code in the email that you got sent, and it'll deduct your amount from your order. So make sure you get those in. I know quite a few people got bonus days coupons, so make sure you go and you spend them or you're losing out on free product. So that's PSA number one. Number two is, don't forget that if you want either of the cards that I'm going to be making today, I will be sending them out to whoever wants them absolutely free. So I only have two. But if you head over to my website, use the contact form and just let me know, hey Lindsay, I'd really like that Daisy Delight card that you made. I will be sending these out. I won't write in them or anything. You'll get an envelope sent right out to you so that you can use them for whatever you want to. So those are my two announcements for today. So let's go ahead and get into the project. We're going to be making this card, like I said, and I think this is just absolutely adorable. Now we are going to change one thing. I wasn't thrilled about the sentiment that I used. I felt like I needed a bolder sentiment, so we're going to change the sentiment, but everything else on the card is going to be exactly the same. And I just love it. I think it's absolutely adorable. So to get into the products that you need, we are going to be using, as I said, the Daisy Delight bundle. So we have the Daisy Delight stamp set and then the Daisy punch. I can't remember exactly what the name of the punch is, but it'll be on the screen or in my blog post down below. But this is these two come together in a bundle, so you can get them together and save 10%, or you can buy them separately, but we are going to be using both of these today. For ink, we are going to be using So Saffron and Chocolate Chip. I'm also going to be using the Daffodil Delight enamel shapes. So these come in a pack in the different color families. So this is from the Brights collection, and I'm just going to use a couple of the little dots. For paper, the first one that we have is this piece, which is, I'm pretty sure this is from the Oh So Eclectic Designer Series paper. I'm pretty sure. Everything will be in the coordinating blog post down below, so you can get all of the exact item numbers and prices and all of that stuff. But I'm pretty sure that's where this one's from. And this piece is cut at 4 inches by 5 1/4. Then we have a piece of Whisper White, and this is cut at 5 1/4 by 2 inches. I have a piece of Daffodil Delight, and this is just a scrap piece that I had. We're going to be using this to cut out our 2 flowers. So you just need something large enough that you can cut out 2 of the daisy punches with. And again, that is Daffodil Delight. And then we have some crumb cake. I have this piece here, which is cut at 2 1/4 by 5 1/4. And then our standard size card base, which is 8 1/2 by 5 1/2. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do is take our piece of Whisper White, and we're going to create our little background. So we're going to use So Saffron, and then in the Daisy Delight stamp set, there's this stamp that has these 3 little flowers on it. So we're going to go ahead and use that. Just going to open this up, and all we're going to do, I'm actually just going to bring in a little scratch piece of paper here. All we're going to do is take this flower and just stamp it all over our piece of Whisper White. Now, I've showed doing backgrounds, creating your own backgrounds many times before with stamping, and the one thing that's a little unique about this is that you have your 3 flowers, but they're all connected in one row. So if you can see, I am being very deliberate in making sure I change the angle of the stamp. I'm not stamping it perfectly. You could, if that's the look that you want to go for. If you want to do like rows of flowers, you could absolutely do that. That's not really the look that I wanted for this one. So I'm making sure that I'm moving my stamp around. That's really important with this one because these flowers are in a row. You really want to make sure that you're moving your stamp around and trying to get some different angles with the stamp and all of that kind of stuff. So it's really easy to do. Don't be intimidated by it. It's not that hard to do at all. Just you have to make sure that you're moving your stamp around a little bit more. And at the end of the day, if it doesn't have to be perfect. We are going to be stamping our sentiment right on top of this. So if there's like one half that you like a little bit more than the other, you can kind of hide the half that you may not really love pretty easily because we're going to stamp our sentiment right on top of this. So that was super quick and easy. Don't think about it, just kind of do it, and I promise it's gonna look okay. So now, speaking of our sentiment, let's go ahead and grab our chocolate chip ink. And like I said, when I was showing you guys the products, we're going to be using this stamp set, but I wanted a different sentiment that was a little bolder, and I really like this thank you that comes in this set. So the only issue that I had with using this is that it is one stamp that goes long left to right, which it's bigger than my piece of paper here. So don't freak out. What I did was I cut my stamp in half. So I have thank and you, they're two separate. I can still butt them back together and use them as one stamp very, very easily. This does not ruin your stamps. If you ever have something where you're like, oh man, I really want to use that stamp, but it's too long or it's too tall or it's too something, see if you can cut it up and use it that way. Anything that I can do to get better use out of my stamps, I am going to do. So this one, I wasn't even going to use this stamp for this project, but I cut it and now I can. So that's what I'm going to go ahead and do. So don't be afraid. You don't have to. If you have another sentiment that you want to use, go ahead and use that. You don't have to cut your stamp to make this project. That's just what I'm doing so that I can get a result I like. Hopefully. I don't know. I haven't tried it with this sentiment, so I hope I like it. So what I'm going to do is ink up my stamp, and I'm going to do this close-ish to the top, probably like an inch, half an inch, quarter of an inch down from the top. And I'm going to do it close up to the right-hand side. So we have thank, and then right underneath, I'm going to stamp you. Just like that. So we can set this off to the side because we don't need it right now. I am going to, just to get the rest of our inking or our stamping done, I'm going to bring in my piece of Daffodil Delight, and I'm going to use the Daisy stamp. I don't know why that was so hard for me to just think about. We're going to use the Daisy stamp. So one thing, and I didn't do this when I first made this card, and I've learned my lesson now. So one thing you want to do is look at how your punch is oriented. So if you see, we have leaves or petals, I guess they are, poking straight up and down. You want to keep that in mind because when you go to stick your your piece of paper in to punch it, you want to make sure your stamp is oriented the same way so you don't run into any issues. I didn't do that, so I had to like cut some of the corners to fit the piece of paper into the punch to get it done correctly. So I'm going to make sure that when I stamp this, that I'm doing it where I have two petals straight up and down. So I'm going to use, again, my chocolate chip ink pad and just get these nice and inked up. And we're going to do two of them. So there's one. I love this stamp set and punch combo. Like I was saying earlier, I have wanted to use this for so long, but because it was on back order so much, I just didn't feel like I wanted to show you guys a project that you couldn't make on your own. So I'm really happy that I can do it today. The last thing that we're going to do is there's like this little circle thing. Let me get the stamp set so I can show you which one it is. So it's this stamp right here. It's like a circle, but it's kind of got some stuff pulled out of it. it's going to be for the center of our flowers. So you only have to do the center of one because we're gonna stack them on top of each other and you won't even see the other. I kind of messed that one up, so maybe, maybe we'll make this one our top flower. Yeah, that one's better. See, and if you mess up on one, you can just do the other and you'll never see the mess up of the first one. So now let's go ahead and punch out our flowers. So again, because we were very particular about where we stamped or how we stamped our flower, it should line up pretty easily. Let me double check. Yep, that looks good. So let's just punch it out. And then we're gonna do, I'm actually gonna flip this. And we shall punch the other one out. Really concentrating here. Okay, there we go. Perfect. Okay. Oh, and one thing that I wanted to tell you guys, when you have, ooh, I don't know what that is. When you have punches like this, when you have these scraps, use these with like your embossing paste. It makes an awesome stencil. And the more you use it, the stronger the stencil gets because it's gonna cake on that embossing paste. And you can now have a flower stencil. So just another little thing you can do with your products to kind of take them a little bit further. So now, I forgot I needed glue dots. Now I'm going to grab my glue dots, and I decided I wanted this one on top. So I'm just gonna get a couple of glue dots and stick them down on the back of the flower. So I'm putting a couple on the back, and this is the flower that I want on the top. And then I'm just gonna take my other flower, and you want to center up the middle, and then you want to put them kind of like cockeyed from each other so you can see all of the different petals. And then all I'm going to do, because this adds a little bit of extra dimension to it, I'm just going to hold it in my fingers with my thumb and my pointer finger, and I'm going to flip it upside down, and then with my other hand I'm just going to gently push the petals down just like this. And that just gives you some dimension so it looks more like a flower instead of something flat on your card. So now all we have to do is put this card together. I was thinking that there was something else to do, but there's not. This is a super easy one. So let me grab my snail adhesive from the drawer. I'm going to start by taking my piece of Whisper White, flipping that bad boy over, and just putting some adhesive on the back. Just like this. And then these two pieces should be the same height, so you just want to center it from left to right. Then we're going to bring in our piece of Designer Series paper and put some adhesive on the back of our crumb cake piece. I don't know why I was having issues with that. And I'm going to, so again, these pieces are going to be, should be the same height. And I'm going to put this on the left-hand side. I don't know, what's that? Maybe 1/4 of an inch, a little bit more than 1/4 of an inch from the left-hand side, just to give it a nice kind of feel. Then I'm gonna go ahead and fold my card base. And we'll put this on our card base before we add our final little touches with our flower. So, flip this bad boy over. Oops. And okay, so now we are going to take our flower and figure out where we want to put it. I'm going to grab a dimensional, and I'm going to stick my dimensional on the back. You may have to kind of push the flower, the petals down again, but I'm gonna put my flower right here. Adorable. Oh, I love it, I love it, I love it. And then I'm just going to take some of these little, oh man, why can't I think of the name of these? Acrylic shapes, is that what they're called? Oh man, I'm having a brain fart. I'm gonna take the circles though, and I'm just going to put them right on the bottom of my card, whoops, in a straight line. Maybe. 1, 2, and 3. Concentrating, so I got quiet there for a second. Okay, perfect. And that is our card for today, guys. So here are the two different versions. I definitely like this one better just because you have more of a bold sentiment, but I think this one's absolutely adorable too. And you can see that I did the enamel dots, the enamel shapes, that's what they're called. I don't know why I was saying acrylic. I don't know. It's early in the morning, guys. It's actually not that early. It's like 10:30, but whatever. So I did them different directions. You can do whatever you want. I just think this is a super fun and easy card. I mean, you guys saw it doesn't take long at all to make this. If I wasn't blabbing so much as usual, I probably could have made this card in like 5 minutes. So it's super, super cute, super easy, and I love it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this project. Don't forget that if you want me to send you one of these cards, head over to my website, let me know, and I will get one sent out to you as long as they're still available, absolutely free. So again, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!